Hello, it is Fred from the Rabbit Chair Reviews. I hope you're doing well. It is time for the new LP and vinyl releases that will be hitting this weekend, Friday, February 13th, 2026. So let's get right to it. First of all, I have 3 pre-orders that have my mouth is watering. Cannot wait for these heavy jams to drop. First of all, Southern legendary rockers Corrosion of Conformity are going to bring the sludge on their new album, which is called Good God, Bad Man. That was released on April 3rd. Their first single dropped this week called Gimme Some More. It's a heavy slab. I'm pretty excited about it. They had 601 copies of a red and blue vinyl for pre-order that's now gone. So these are just pre-orders that are available, but they do have plenty of black ready for you to pick up. It's a double record, and it's going to be groovy, man. I can't wait. The next album is by Zakk Wylde's group Black Label Society, and that is called Engines of Destruction. This is, I can't remember how many albums that Black Label Society's put out, but, they always are pretty consistent. They never shock you with anything. Nothing ever knocks you down, but you're always happy to hear it. There's a bunch of those Zoetrope records. We only have one of those that we've ever bought in our collection. But they have 4 different copies of that available on Revolver. Plus, there's a Blood Orange. That's the one that I ordered. That one interests me. But I'm hoping that Zakk will deliver. The last couple records they haven't done much for me, so I'm hoping this one brings something that at least, makes me slightly surprised. Then today, the 35th anniversary of Smashing Pumpkins' album Gish dropped on their Zuzu site. However, the gray marble is already sold out. It sold out in less than an hour. Lucky to grab one, but they have black available. Gish is one of my favorite Smashing Pumpkins records. It's kind of the introduction for a lot of heavy music listeners to Billy Corgan and what they were doing. So if you haven't gotten Gish, or if you have Gish and you want this 35th anniversary, I'm sure it's going to look and sound incredible. So snag that. Then albums that are actually coming out on vinyl this week. Friday, we have Beck coming out with Everybody's Gotta Learn Sometime. It's a red vinyl. It's a collection of B-sides and covers from this alt-rock legend. I was listening to the teaser track, and I gotta say, I'm excited to pick this one up. I know that a lot of this has been released before, but it'd be cool to have it all on vinyl in one place, and it's available on red, so I'm gonna grab that. Next, we have a movie soundtrack, Wuthering Heights. I read that book back in the day in my literature class in college, and I'm kind of interested to see this movie because, if Charlie XCX is doing the soundtracks, this is maybe one of those things like they did with that old Shakespearean one with Leonardo DiCaprio, where it was modern music and they had modern weapons, but it was kind of old school. They spoke in the old school dialogue. I don't know. This could be terrible, but it's Charlie XCX, so I'm kind of interested in hearing if it's any good or not. Next, we have a large collection, Jeff Buckley live at Cine. I'm excited about this. I didn't realize that the value of this album had gone up so much, probably because of his fame on TikTok recently and the documentary. But these are some of his live performances from that legendary club that closed in 2007. I believe it's 3. It might be 4 LPs. It's 3 or 4 LPs. I own it. It's a big set. So it's going to cost a little money, but I know this was going for almost $300 now, so this is much more affordable. So grab it while you can, because I'm sure it's going to sell out again. Folk singer Joni Mitchell's 1975, The Hissing of Summer Lawns, is going to be released in a MoFi as well. All these MoFi pressings sound pretty incredible. I'm sure it's going to be $100 to grab this because that's just what the MoFis are, but it's going to sound better than any other version you can find. So if you're a Joni fan, pick that up. New York metal legends Life of Agony's 1997 album Soul Searching Sun is being re-released again. I don't think it's actually been out of print for very long, but it seems like LOA is repressing some of their stuff. This album was kind of divisive. It didn't have the heavy driving feel. They had a new drummer. The drummer from Propane had joined up with the band for just this one album. And the lyrics were a little more emotionally driven, maybe introspective. Maybe a little more even vulnerable, if you will. But I like this record. There are some songs that like Angry Tree and those that maybe don't fall into their popular parts of their catalog. But I think this record is still pretty solid even all these years later. So if you've never heard Soul Searching Sun, grab it now while you can. Ludwig Korsal, I don't know if I'm saying that name right. Death Stranding, the new Death Stranding soundtrack will be available for those video game collectors. I'm not someone who buys much vinyl from video games because that's just another rabbit hole, and I need to have some money to eat and buy clothes and stuff, so I'm avoiding that. But if you're into it, grab it. The band Midnight, kind of black metal, thrashy punk, they have all those elements. Their debut album Satanic Royalty will be out from, this is a 15-year anniversary for them. I didn't really realize that I probably played with some of the guys from Midnight back in the day because they had a band called Boulder in Cleveland that my own band would play with quite a bit back in the late 90s, early 2000s. But Midnight has made quite a name for themselves, and so this album is getting a re-release, a pretty widespread release, I'm sure. They usually press big when they do press. Nordals Vapen by Talk, I think I'm saying that right, means Norway's weapon. Once again, a 2011 release. This was their 5th record, has been out of print for a while, but Talk is one of those bands that I like, but, not a band that I need to collect all of their stuff, but I know some of you will be into that, so grab it. Then last but not least, post-hardcore group Quicksand has a 30th release of Manic Compression coming out. I don't own a lot of Quicksand on vinyl, but I have been digging back into their catalog a little bit lately, and I feel like maybe I could pick up a few of those, so this might be the one I start with. We'll see. That's it. You have anything you're looking forward to, please tell me below. Comment, like, follow. I'm going to try to do these every week and let you guys know what is coming out on vinyl, even pre-orders that you can snag, hopefully before they're gone. As you saw this week, a lot of the stuff that I was really excited about, as soon as I got it, it was pretty much gone within an hour. So these pre-orders do go pretty quickly, but I hope you enjoyed it. Rock on.